Take a seat, sit back, and relax, because you are listening to Real Talk Radio, where the talk gets real. Welcome to Big Brother All-Star Edition.
Week 3 recap. Welcome everybody to Real Talk Radio. This is your boy Justin JLB. This is the Binge Big Brother All-Star Edition, Week 3. I don't know what it is in Spanish. Tres, Jesus, there we go. All in Spanish, in any type of language, because we know we have Big Brother fans all over the globe that speak various types of languages. And I'll stop talking about that and start introducing you to the Big Brother fanatics that I have here with me. First Big Brother fanatic we got, always joining me here, Stephanie. How goes it?
Hey, it goes well.
It goes well. It goes well. That's usually how it is. And we got CiCi.
Hey.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm still recovering from your intro.
All right.
It's going well.
Goes well. It goes well. Fair enough. Fair enough. That works. That's good. Same here. You know, another week has gone by.
It's true, eh? We never ask you how you're doing. You always ask us how we're doing. And we're like, hey, how are you, Justin?
Yeah. You know what? I am doing good. Thanks for asking. No, it's cool. Don't worry about it. We're not here to see how we're doing. It is nice to know, though. We are here to talk about some Big Brother, and this week was quite sad for me. But we will talk about it as it starts off on Sunday with. Do we know technically on Thursday night? No, we technically find out on Sunday.
Yeah, technically we find out on the Sunday,
where Tyler wins the HOH. Yay, Tyler. And it was kind of, do you guys remember what the competition was, though?
They had to,
It was the sliding beer. I'm pretty sure we saw it at the end of Thursday. Because last week we talked about how we didn't understand why they weren't sliding more cups.
Oh, I'm getting confused with the new HOH comp then.
I think so. Because the new one we technically don't know yet. Because it's Sunday.
We ended last week knowing that Tyler won HOH.
It's true. We talked about that. It's true. So Tyler wins. And in this episode, they essentially get into the thick of things of, hey, Janelle and Kaysar are going up, as no one else kind of pulled the trigger on that. So Tyler is going to, since they had mentioned the company alliance from the previous week. So Tyler was going with that. We also see a new group forming on Sunday's episode with the Slick Six.
Kind of like a backup alliance, yeah.
Yeah, it's like everybody in that group, they've got their duos, and this is a backup alliance. No one's really taking it seriously right now.
And we will find out that it gets even worse. Cody seems to be just with everybody. So Cody starts an alliance with Tyler, Enzo, Devon, Bailey, and Danny. A Slick Six. Nice little fancy. I mean, they could have probably been more creative, but they're all slick because they're all in separate alliances, so I can deal. And of course, every Sunday, along with the HOH, we also have the lovely Have Not ceremony, which ended up having a little bit of gossip into it. So the outgoing Have Nots, if you will, the new ones that got nominated were Enzo, Cody, Bailey, and I do remember that Nicole was the one that nominated Janelle because Nicole basically had a snart remark that, well, Janelle always talks about me, so I'm going to put her up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of happy she said it.
It definitely adds drama.
Definitely drama factor, entertainment factor. Tyler's response, pretty on point with how everybody was feeling. I think it was like, what? It was like, okay.
Yeah.
And, kept going.
I remember Ian's expression being like, oh, where's my popcorn? This about to get crazy. So that happened. Nicole was even in the diary room was like, oh, did I say that out loud? Like, you know what you did. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't think she did it on purpose, but I just think that's how she was feeling, and it just came out so genuinely that, like, you know.
That's it. So either way, it was fun to watch, fun to see. I had Janelle, like a pro, just kind of, didn't lash out, just kind of said, okay,
She
whatever.
should have, though. She should have.
She should have, but she's more mature. She's 40. She's like a mom of 3. It would be a whole bad. If it was Janelle back in season 8, probably would have.
I think that if Vito had passed already and Janelle didn't win Vito, she probably would have said something. But it was still kind of early in the week, so she didn't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, Janelle knew she was going to have a long week ahead of her. That was not a hill to die on.
Right. We also did have Janelle and Kaser trying to convince Memphis to use, because now this is the last week of the safety suite. So you guys were originally right. This is the last week for anyone to use it. And Janelle and Kaser were basically trying to convince Memphis to use the safety suite on one of them if he wins. He essentially agreed to use it. However, Janelle kind of realized that, hey, maybe he's not going to, since he never made eye contact with her. So she caught on to that right away. So yeah, the safety suite, essentially, it was Memphis,
Enzo, Nicole,
and Danny. And that's it. So that's essentially the last competitors that can place, because since this is the last day. And so that's why Kaser and Janelle were trying to say, like, hey, use it on us. You're kind of buddy-buddy with us. But when Memphis's promise to Janelle seemed fake because he never gave her any eye contact. Also, Devon, at the same time, also just tries to convince people to make her a +1 because she wants to experience a punishment. Which, okay.
Like, I mean, I believe
her.
I believe her, but I think obviously it wasn't the only reason.
Right, but she was parading way too much for that to be the only reason. Enzo was like, yeah, okay, but he was kind of weirded out by it. Like, don't try to guilt trip me just because you want a punishment. Like, this is only week 4. I'm pretty sure you might get another punishment at some
another opportunity. Yeah. I think that was a tough thing for Devon to do, in the sense of, like, you're just starting these alliances, you're just starting to have conversations kind of beyond your immediate circle, and you're going to people to basically ask them to prove themselves to you, whether you think that's what you're asking or not. And to me, it was a little bit, you're not setting yourself up for success, let's put it that way, because you're just going to put uneasiness in the people you're talking to.
And thus goes the uneasiness with Tyler, because Tyler was concerned about Devon wanting safety. He thought that basically it meant that she didn't trust him to make the right call for the nominations. And which is exactly what you're alluding to, CC. And yeah, so this competition is super duper fun. We basically have tried to steal basically a bunch of laser lights. You have to go through the laser lights without triggering any of them off. And you have to grab the ball. I don't know what they called it.
Called it like the safety sphere.
The safety sphere. There we go.
Which is basically just a yoga ball.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, cool competition, though. Memphis, interestingly enough, was trying to go slow.
He was sitting on the yoga ball at the end of the course, like, just hanging out.
Pretty sure he got like second to last place, though, because the highest number was 14 and he got like 11.
Did he? No, I felt like he was okay. I feel like he was. See, that's what CBS should also do, because not everyone gives the numbers of the minutes, or maybe I should just write them down when I'm watching it. Yeah, that'll be good too. Yeah, so he went slow, but he still beat Nicole, who was dead last because she's clumsy, and she mentioned she was clumsy, so I guess we should just give it to her. Being dead last. But in the end, Enzo wins an impressive time at 4 minutes and 41 seconds, and he chooses Christmas as his numero uno. That's right, I'm just doing all languages. And Janelle knows now that Memphis threw the competition for sure, and that Devon is mad because Enzo didn't give him +1. So sad, too bad. You'll get a punishment in the future. Any thoughts on that? How'd you guys like the competition?
How is Christmas so popular?
Because
like, what are we not seeing? What is CBS like editing out here? I don't know.
Well, I mean, she seems like a fun time though. She seems like she would like be interesting to talk to. She seems like more out there, like I don't know. I mean, we're not seeing obviously all the conversations. We'll get to maybe why she's so fun with her lovely punishment that she gets. No, you don't remember the punishment? All the lovely
all of the stars of the babies. Lots of the babies.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
I think maybe I found it more funny because I could relate. It was like sad funny, but then I was like, oh, poor her.
Yeah, but come on, like 5 kids at once, and then
there was like 10.
She ended up with like 7 or 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot. That's for sure.
I mean, yeah, she's a champ. She's funny. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was great, and she bothered everyone. Everyone understood, but holy hell! And then her and Enzo was the father, and he's like, "Yo, what is Christmas doing here? Like, it's like I think one of the kids are mine, but those other ones, typical New Jersey."
He hammed it up a bit for sure.
And then they like zoomed in on the one star that had like the creased face.
That's it.
That was funny.
So ultimately, the nomination ceremony comes. Tyler ultimately decides to put up Kaser and Janelle, as he was going to do. So he actually lived up to what he was going to do and not played it safe. So this is the week where it actually finally begins. This is the week where the bow breaks, if you will, and it starts happening. So there we go. Janelle, Kaser are up.
And none of them win veto.
So basically, Power Veto starts. We're on Wednesday already. Power Veto goes in. Before we do get to the Power Veto ceremony, Devon decides to cover her base to speak to Tyler. He again doesn't want to be like a replacement nomination. Tyler is still getting jittery about why she's so scared, which, bro, you're in the same alliance. Like, what are you doing? Why are you like talking to Tyler about nominations or like backdoor replacements and so on? Like,
my perspective on it is if you're in an alliance with someone and you're not talking game, you're not throwing what ifs around, you're not having strategy conversation, are you really in an alliance together? And so I think that to me, like that's the perspective. And that's why I was like, for Devon, it was tough to go out there and do what she was doing, but I kind of don't blame her for it, because if she's not talking game with any of these people, are you really working together? And I would say no. True. Right? And it's an all-star season. Forming an alliance as a smokescreen, I wouldn't put it past half of these players.
Of course. Right. Yeah, no, I don't blame her either. It obviously just shows that it's a very early alliance and they don't fully trust each other yet.
Right.
But at the same time, she could have hid her cards a little bit better. I feel like she was very exposed.
Yeah,
for sure. Agreed.
Because the way that it was edited, it seemed like she was nervous. Like, although she may not have tried to be when talking about it, it seemed like she was very skeptical of her being backdoored for some reason. Like, you being in alliance with him, I'm sure you've had the conversation of you knowing that he wants to get Janelle or Kaser up, and it would rather be Janelle, but if not, Kaser is the best bet. Like, so I don't know. It was still a little bit of second guessing, and definitely maybe the alliance is too early, and that's what went down. And yeah, so aside from that, we still get Nicole F. and Danny talk confirming their final 4. Danny is now finally playing, and she starts talking and admits that there are a few people in their alliance who would be too hard to beat, and she starts to plant seeds of doubt, making varying comments to other house guests about who the strongest players are. So Danny's finally here to play.
I'm kind of liking her strategy right now. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm liking how she's doing it because I could see it being useful in the long run.
I agree with that. It's like, it's not my cup of tea as far as like a game that I would play or that I would, want to work with. But I think she's going to be able to maneuver that well. I'm a little bit worried about her in the same way that I worried about Tyler. Like, they're kind of aligned. They were aligned with basically everybody except Janelle and Kaser. I think there's good in her game. I hope she doesn't get trapped.
Yeah.
That's it. So at least she's finally playing, though. I don't mind her strategy like you. It's just be careful because at the same time, Cody and Memphis and Enzo are kind of running the house, and we still really, and Tyler, I guess, and we still really see that. We see that those two are the four head honchos, and nothing technically gets past them as of right now. Because every time there's a conversation, well, that's because they're on all the alliances, though. So,
Exactly.
so every time there's a conversation, oh, you should maybe go talk to Cody. You should maybe go, you know what I mean? Like, no, guys, that's it. So Danny's smart. I like it. She's going to finally try, and this would work to her and her advantage for later on. Because I don't think anyone's necessarily seeing Danny coming, so I enjoy it. So before we get to the POV, basically we have Janelle we see her healthcare routine, which contains a lot of acid in it. And Ian had mentioned
skincare routine, actually. And I use similar products, the same company that she was using, and it's actually very, very good for you.
Snap. There we go. Well, Ian just said, they made mention that there was a lot of acid in one of the...
I think it's because she said it's 3.6% pH or 3.6 pH, and he thought it was 3.6% acid, but actually they have 10% lactic acid in them, and it's meant to like melt off the top layer of your skin. So yes.
Well, yeah, it's an acid peel, but 3.6 pH is the acidity level, not the concentration.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's still, anyway, Ian did his science Ian thing and freaked Janelle right out.
Well, that's it. And they were both in two different wavelengths in that regard, because she was probably talking about something different. Him, as a crazy science guy, is going to be like, well, hold on. What do you mean 3.5 pH? That's not good. 1 is complete acid. 3.5 is a no-no. So then, of course, two different wavelengths. You're talking about two different things. Miscommunication, but it was funny and I enjoyed it. So then we got the lovely Power of Veto competition. And the players that are picked for the Power of Veto competition are, of course, Tyler, Janelle, Kaser, and they were picked by Cody, Bailey, and Memphis. This veto competition is called the Cupcake Clash, which is fun. Basically, this is where the players have to rearrange multicolored cupcake puzzles by moving one piece at a time and trying to get all three cupcakes to be one whole color before the opposite does the same. And it's going to be like one-on-one competitions in a tournament style. Then the last two will face off and essentially see who wins the Power of Veto. So we first saw Tyler beat Kaser in no problem. Kaser honestly didn't seem like he knew what he was doing.
No, I think he didn't associate the base colors with like the cake colors, which I don't know why.
Right.
This seems like a silly thing to be missing.
That's it. So he didn't know at first, and which is why. So when he did that and he tried to ring in, he got it wrong because they were not the same base colors, and then which ultimately gave Tyler the win because then he had to rearrange everything, and that could not happen. So that was probably one of the fairest matchups because after that we got Cody against Bailey, and basically Cody just runs through this competition. Cody's a phenomenal competitor. We've seen him.
He did amazing in this competition for every round.
Yeah, he did great.
And I think as you keep playing, though, you just get better, right? Because you know what's up. You understand how the competition, practice makes perfect sort of deal, you know? So he just kept on dominating. Cody beat Bailey, and that's what happened. Memphis went against Janelle, and I was like, okay, Janelle, this is your bag. This is your bag, Janelle. You can do this. You're good at these competitions. Let's go. And so what...
Aww.
and what it seems like where Memphis potentially maybe would have messed up to try and give Janelle a push, he essentially messed up the yellow cupcake. It was all fine and dandy, and he maneuvered it and put it somewhere else while he was trying to mess around with one of the other cupcakes. The house guests took notice to this and were like, oh, he's throwing the competition.
I think in that moment, though, I don't think he noticed because I'm like, I genuinely believe he messed up on that one and didn't realize how he had everything lined up. But then it was obvious to everybody that it looked like he was throwing it because then after he was still ahead of Janelle, and he realized, well, I can't throw it, so I have to win at this point, even though he said he wanted to win. So I don't know. I'm like a 50-50 on him wanting to win, but then not throw. I don't know what to believe with him on that one.
I think Memphis is just an idiot, though. I think he did it. I think he just did it like that. And it's a hard competition, right? You got to go fast. You're thinking. You have to look. He probably just, that happened. He just did it. I don't think he meant to try and throw it. But he ultimately won because Janelle couldn't just do it, and she was trying her darndest, and she is no longer the comp beast. I loved her being in season 7 or 8. And
I'm really surprised it took her, because like obviously we never know with editing, but if Memphis had a chance to win early on and then just didn't notice and then still won, it's like, how long did he go on before Janelle still had a chance to beat him and she didn't? So I was really surprised.
I feel like she just got way too nervous and whatever, and she, like, at least editing wise, it seemed like she was going slow, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Your life is on the line, but clearly it doesn't matter. Jeez. So Memphis wins. Yay. Memphis then goes against Cody, and basically Cody wins because, I don't know.
Cody mops the floors with him, basically.
Yeah. Cody, it was over just that quick, just as fast as I said that. Cody got the cupcakes in the right order because Cody is a beast comp and deserves it. So Cody wins POV. Yay!
Yay!
And so back in the house, Danny's convinced that Memphis was trying to throw it. Memphis was throwing it. Enzo and Cody are also convinced that that Memphis threw it as well. And this basically solidifies for Tyler that his ally may not be wholly trustworthy, which, yeah, duh, because I feel like Memphis was always just playing for himself. Always.
Yeah, I think they doubted.
I don't think he was ever playing for the team.
I think they doubted him a lot at the beginning, but now it was like so blatant that they were like, okay, we can't really ignore it anymore. It's like right in our face.
And whether he meant to or not, still, dude, like you're so shady throughout. Like Cody, I honestly don't think never liked Memphis, but it's like, okay, bro, yeah.
I think Cody respected him a lot, so I agreed to work with him, but then quickly realized that he was not that smart.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to what I said, like week 2, I think, where it was like they're seeing loyalty in each other, but they were both, the brawn. Neither of them were the brains in their operations, so I don't think they can't really work together. I think Cody is presenting himself more as a strategist than he did when he worked with Derek, but he can't work with Memphis. There's no way.
Agreed.
You don't see it. I don't see it.
Who would be the strategist in the company?
They call themselves the committee.
Yeah, I'd say Tyler and
Danny.
Cody's, and Danny on the girl side for sure.
Yeah, Danny on the girl side for sure. But out of the guys that's in that group, I don't know, man. They all just seem like Tyler. I don't know if he's necessarily a strategist. He's more of just a go with the flow kind of guy, though. I feel.
Yeah, he's a social player.
Yeah, but he's very aware of what he's doing and like the implications his actions will have. So I think that plays into strategizing as well, even though it's not like so much a plan ahead type of strategy. It's a more of, if my reaction today, how will it affect tomorrow kind of thing. If that makes sense. I don't know how that makes sense, but
yeah, well, I get it. I hear you.
I get it. But that works. No, exactly. So out of them, though, I feel like Tyler is probably the most level-headed and knows what he's doing. Cody still seems kind of somewhat confused, but is kind of getting there. So basically, Janelle then within this episode, Janelle pitches to Cody, hey, should use the video on her. She'd help him and Tyler's game by being the biggest target in the house and voting with them for 2 weeks, which is something similar she did. I believe it was the last episode where she mentioned, hey, you can have my vote for 2 weeks, which I don't know why you didn't mention that for longer than 2 weeks. But ultimately, the same, I believe this was the same episode where Janelle even offers her wedding ring as collateral.
Yeah.
Which, whoa.
So
Yeah.
this is I think where we really start to see, you know, how Big Brother has changed in the last 10 years. Because there doesn't seem to be any wheeling and dealing. And so, yeah, collateral is not something we've seen in a long time. But this was something that people used to do a lot. They would go and be like, this is my Hail Mary offer. This is what I can give to you. And, you know, and this is what I'm willing to offer in exchange for, you know, you taking this risk.
I think it still works because I feel like in the last 10 years, I have seen collateral offers happen. Like, I'm sure Derek offered some, well, not Derek, but Derek was given collateral offers on his season. But the problem is, Cody, I feel, is not that kind of collateral guy. He's more of a loyal, stick with my team kind of dude. I'm going to do what keeps the team happy. So I think it depends on who what player you're offering that collateral option to.
I'm glad you brought that up though, Cici, because it's true. Like, especially reading that article that you sent just before, Justin. It was like the fact that the game has changed so much in the last few years. Like, everybody wants to play it safe, especially in the new seasons. And I say the new seasons meaning like the last like maybe 6 or 7 seasons. The game gets gritty when jury gets involved. But at the beginning, everyone just plays it safe. The same thing every week. Go with the house. Like, you know, and then eventually the house gets divided in week 4. And then you start to see split votes. And then jury starts. And then it gets more interesting. But it's like back then, even Janelle was saying, people were not afraid to like go against the HOH. Like, they understood that once the HOH put the noms up, HOH had no more power that week. And now it's like everyone's like, oh, well, we should see what the HOH is saying and who they're targeted and go with what they want to say. And I find that so boring.
It is so boring, and I'm kind of over it. One of the reasons why I was looking forward to an All-Star season is because they should be past that already. It's not about being nice. And so, yeah, I was hoping to see more gameplay like what Janelle is trying to do. I don't know if we're going to see it, and I'm kind of bummed.
And this is also, and the problem is your All-Stars that you picked were very boring technically. And there's a whole conversation that also Tyler had with the word boring in the live feeds as well, by the way, which was kind of hilarious. But basically all the R-Stalls that were picked, aside from Janelle, maybe aside from Kaser, because Kaser does play that kind of game, and maybe Ian, but Ian was always kind of a stealthy guy, but can play if needs be, and maybe Nicole A. Aside from those 4, all these other All-Stars are kind of just go with the flow players. But a lot of those players are kind of just safe, go with the flow, stick with my team. Or Danny too can start some stuff and start making
Danny
moves
came
and all
from that Big Brother season that, you know, things got done and they didn't care what people thought about it. It was like game move. If it was best for the game and best for the TV and best for the fans, they were going to go ahead with it.
Well, look who her father is, right? So, you know, like, for sure. So aside from that, though, everyone else is safe players. Devon used to kind of be like that, I feel, but she's like matured. So she's not like that. Or maybe Bailey's holding her back because Bailey is like that. But Bailey can play, but Devon is holding back because she doesn't want to blow up Bailey's game. We're going to get to that whole situation, though, because that is coming up on the next episode. So with that, Power Veto doesn't get used. Cody's keeping nominations the same, of course. And now comes Thursday, the eviction episode. Dun, dun, dun. And so with both of them still on the block, Kaysar and Janelle start talking. Kaysar and Janelle are reminiscing about their time together. No, Janelle, is feeling bad that she kind of blew up Kaysar's game, and she feels really bad. She's like, I should have said no from coming into the Big Brother house. And he's like, look, I'm glad you're here with me. I'm glad, I haven't talked to you in ages. It's fine. It is what it is. Janelle is trying to convince Kaysar to start making new alliances and get out there and so on. So, I just seeing their friendship kind of, I guess, in one of their last final conversation, perhaps, of them together and kind of, just respecting each other. That was nice to see. That was really cool to see with them starting off the episode like that.
They screwed up by working together. I mean,
For sure.
wash, rinse, repeat. I don't know why they thought that they would be able to just do exactly what they did. That didn't allow either of them to win.
Week 1, they
I'm
made
really
the
sad.
mistake of putting the safety suite, playing the safety suite together, and then picking the other person to be safe with them. That was where they went wrong from the beginning.
And that would have changed everything. That would have absolutely have changed everything. This is your week. You still could have used the safety suite if one of you didn't do it. I guess it would have been better if for Kesar's case, to have been this week to play safety suite, because Lord knows Janelle wasn't going to win anything.
Oh, you're really sore about it, eh?
Oh, really? She was such a compy.
She's also 40.
And the competitions are different, and
You don't know what having 3 kids does to you.
You know
and
what,
honestly,
guys?
I don't know
Age
what
is-
kind of competition she was. I can't even remember what kind of competition she won, but I feel like a lot of them were pure athleticism or luck. I don't think she ever won a competition that actually required her brain. Not that she's dumb. I don't mean to imply that, but it's just I don't think she won strategy competitions, and most of them have been that way.
A lot of them were athletic competitions because she was in shape. Not to say she's not in shape now. It's just that, things get slower when you're 40.
Yeah.
Fair. No, and I understand. And I'm sorry. The DJ thing, okay, I guess that's somewhat brainy, but I mean, that's just trial and error. The cupcake thing, that's somewhat athletic, I guess you're using. Really? You're kind of saying she's dumb.
I'm just saying that wasn't how she won her competitions. Those weren't the types of competitions that she won.
All right, you done did it. I got to go watch me a Janelle season because...
She has a highlight reel, I'm sure. Someone's put it together.
Perfect. I am definitely going to do that. So yeah, we see that. We see Kevin and Christmas weigh in on the pros and cons to keep one or the other. It seems like they're more liking Janelle from what we see, but of course it's Big Brother editing, so they're obviously probably weighing in Janelle or Kaysar a bunch of times. And Kevin does seem to really prefer Janelle more so. But in this conversation, it's interesting because also Kevin doesn't really want to give too much information to Christmas. So he's not wanting to trust Christmas. So it's interesting to see why.
Smart for him, though. Smart for him.
Smart for him, for sure.
He probably sees that she's very friendly with everybody, though. So he's like, I don't really know her that well. I don't trust her yet, So he's like, and it's not clear yet to the rest of the house that she is working with the big alliance. Mm-hmm. So he was smart to kind of stay just agree with her and be like, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
This is kind of what's so mind-boggling in these first kind of 6 weeks now, as we go back to that conversation about 10 years ago versus now. It's you can't figure out where what people are thinking if you're not willing to kind of put something out there. Because you can go up to someone and just say, tell Janelle, I'm just gonna go see what people are feeling, you're campaigning for Kaysar to see what happens, and then you work with Janelle and be like, so this is kind of what I'm hearing from other people because I'm saying this. You don't have to be honest to get information. It's there's this aspect of the game that really seems to be missing right now.
Well, I mean, Janelle does that. She makes the rounds of talking to the house guests about trying to gain their votes. I do think she could have done a little bit better, as she just kept on telling everybody, oh yeah, Memphis has got me and Kevin has got me.
Yeah, but Janelle's nominated. I'm talking about people who aren't on the block. Yeah,
no, very valid. The only person that works for is Ian. You know what I mean? Ian can do that because we know Ian is smart, though, and he's thinking 100 words a second and already he's the winner for a reason. You know what I mean? He probably knows your move before you're going to do it.
Not for nothing, though, but anybody coming into a Big Brother All-Star season, your automatic first targets, friends or not, should be the people who've already won.
I know. I agree.
And Nicole F is just swimming, just.
But it's also because Nicole F and Danny are BFFs outside the house.
Which,
for anybody who follows them on social media and stuff, they're really close.
That's the thing, and that's what Janelle, this was off of Big Brother, but that's what Janelle was kind of warning a bunch of people the night before eviction. She was kind of warning people, hey, they're best friends, watch out for them. But, you know, of course, at this point, you being one of the nominees, your word is not going to mean much because you're just trying to stir the pot when, you know, you're going to get evicted. So not a lot of people maybe perhaps believed it, but they certainly should. Or I'm sure they know. Like, do they not check on Twitter? And like, are you not part of the Big Brother fandom and have everybody on Twitter or Facebook and so on? Like, I'm sure you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on how sore of a loser you are.
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Like, I'm sure David doesn't, because David even mentioned the first time when he came in, he never really watched Big Brother and kind of thing. He just wanted to be like the first black player to win. But I'm like, okay, bro, but you kind of need to know how Big Brother works.
Yeah, you're in an all-star season having never watched the show and having never played before. It just goes back to our conversation. Like, I get why he's there, but why is he there?
That's it. Exactly. And okay, so basically, then we get to the bombshell. And you know what? That's actually a good way. Why is David there? David gets into a nice little conversation with Devon and Bailey and starts spilling some tea. He mentions that he was trying to get votes, that Devon was trying to get votes to flip the house on him. And he had also spilled some tea with naming names. Who did he name? Well, he named the person that he got the information from, of course, and said Tyler's name, who, by the way, he is best friends with in the house, and Tyler has been trying to save him every step of the way.
Yeah, he named Tyler and Cody, but then only told Tyler that he named Tyler instead of naming both of them. So Tyler totally freaked out. And I mean, I understand that David felt comfortable because it seems like he's close with Bailey and just not so close with Devon since that incident from last week.
Right.
And he also made it clear that like he's close with Bailey because of, you know, the whole like the black people stick together because they're trying to make a person of color be the first winner. So I understand him using that to Tyler as a justification, but it's like, bro, you're on Big Brother, like fib your way to the top, fake it till you make it. Like you could have easily told Tyler like something else and like tried to like, I don't know, like he just burned the bridges on both sides.
He couldn't though, because Tyler saw David and Bailey talking and there was tension there. So Tyler already knew what was up and he's like, hey guys, what's wrong? So that's why.
But he didn't really know what they were talking about. He could have just lied. It could have bit him back in the ass like 2 weeks later or next week. But he could have just said, hey, they heard that we were flipping the votes and they accused me of doing it. And because I'm close with you, they think that we had. Like, there was just ways to like not admit that he was the one that spilled the beans on everything.
Or like write it off to paranoia. So I David, it's obviously a rookie move, but Tyler freaked out on this one. I think he overreacted majorly because if Slick Six is a thing at all he has to do is walk up to Devon and say like, David just, you know, told me his conversation with you. We're obviously both building a relationship with him. Like, level with me. What's going on? He's not part of Slick Six. So Tyler could have used that as a cover and actually confronted Devon. Why not do that?
Yeah. I mean, he could have, maybe, technically.
If David is dead to me, like when he said to Cody, right? Then you just go and you drown him. You bury him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yes,
so it's just like he overreacted but did nothing about it. And so this is what I'm worried is going to happen repeatedly in the season with Tyler, with Cody, and with Nicole. We're going to see a bunch of drama, a bunch of paranoia, a bunch of things that's like diary room drama, and nothing happens in the game because of it. Not a thing.
Yeah.
But this is the problem too. If he would have went to Devon and told her that rather, oh, listen, nothing's happening. We're still trying to build a relationship. Because David isn't in the Slick Six, right?
Exactly.
But that's the problem. Then Devon would be like, okay, but why would David come tell you this? What kind of
Exactly.
relationship do you have there? So that would still mess up Tyler's game, though. I don't think that would have been a good move, because that still would have blown up that David and Tyler were working together, and then Davon still wouldn't trust Tyler anyways, because like, oh, okay, so you have
Oh,
this.
come on. You
alliance
think
with us.
Day doesn't know that Tyler and David are working together? Come on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, David doesn't explain himself properly. So Devon already doesn't think David could communicate well. So, maybe it was just a conversation that was happening. Because I feel like Devon really thinks that this kid is pointless and useless. And so she wants to help him out. But like, as she said in the diary room, like, I can't do it anymore. I'm giving this kid my all.
Why don't you bury him? This is back to like, the like actually playing the game. Like if Tyler
make everybody think that David is just not reliable and not a good game player, and then he has a target next week.
Like if Tyler is so hurt by that, Davon's washing her hands of it. Like Bailey has a soft spot for him, but has no intention of playing the game with him. You can tell.
Right.
Like, just bury him. Like, I don't understand why we feel like we need to keep him safe. He's not playing. If he was playing the game and if he was in a league that was appropriate for his skill set, okay, but not on All-Stars. Like, he's not playing, he's not cunning, he's not strategizing, he's spilling beans. He's not in the right season.
At all.
He's not. And so, yeah, it sucks. And I wish he was performing better, because he's not winning competitions. Like, if he was performing better, I'd get it. But he's not. And he's not feeding any sort of alliance. People are just protecting him because they feel bad for him. And that's not a way you want to win either. Like, you don't want to get to the like final chairs as the GOAT. No one wants to be that person. But that's what he's heading for. He's just being protected all the way to the end.
Yep. I was happy to see him announced for the cast, because I liked him last season. And then after week 2 happened, I was like, yeah, I take back what I said.
All right. No take backsies, but we'll accept it. I agree, though. Completely useless player. Definitely not all-star worthy. Nowhere near all-star worthy. I, in fact, would have rather Josh. His pot and pans hitting would have been super entertaining, at least. I could have dealt with his crying. And he somewhat knows how to play ish. He did win, right? So, yeah. But honestly, anybody but David. Know your ABDs, because hot diggity damn, it was horrible.
I feel bad for the kid. I do, but that's not a reason for him to be going farther in the game.
Nope. We're not in kindergarten anymore. You don't feel bad. It is what it is. This is All-Stars. Not all. Okay, I'm sorry. That was last week, guys. I'm not doing it again.
No, Tyler said it this week too.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm like, that line is going down in BB history. I'm so glad Nicole A got a little bit of BB notoriety. I hope that she uses it in her own podcast.
Yeah, I don't even know what her podcast name is. I wanted to check out her podcast and I just couldn't find it. I didn't Google hard enough though either, so there is that. Live eviction happens. Do we need to talk about? I think that's pretty much it. Oh, well, the whole bidet issue.
So,
right?
A bit of humor.
Well, you need it. We needed something. We needed something in the week that made us go, oh my God. Enzo's got to have something every week that just makes you go, Jesus, dude. Come on.
Okay, now look, there might not be a lot of people who have
the
ever
spritz for water. It's funny.
It's like, what he called it? It was,
the spritzer water.
No. He said something with windshield. It was like windshield spray. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Okay. But
I know how to quote Enzo. Come on.
My bad. It was hilarious. And then, so for those that don't know what we're talking about, which by the way, if you don't, you probably should go watch the episode and then come back. So essentially, basically, they get a bidet. The house gets a bidet. Enzo has never seen a bidet in his life, and tries to explain it to everybody. He starts comparing it like it's spritzer water, like it's a windshield water wiper thing, like, which, by the way, but Enzo, what are you doing with your windshield wipers, bro? Like, um, and that's it. And he starts explaining how he first used it, and then he had gotten water everywhere. And then he got up and left. And then when Cody went to go use the bathroom, Cody was like, "What the hell happened here?" There was water all over the floor. There was water all over the door, and yeah, it was just mess up. And this is what kind of made me think I don't think I want Enzo as a roommate.
No, I don't think I want to live with Enzo either. No, but I thought it was a really cute and endearing moment.
Sure.
I think it's hilarious. He probably should have wiped the bathroom down. He was also probably really embarrassed. Like,
and listen, if it's your first time using a bidet, I don't know about you guys, but the first time I used the bidet, I chose the wrong water filter that goes up, and it wasn't a pleasant feeling. So he probably did the same thing, and he got scared, and he went up and got scared and just ran out. And probably kept it on, and he probably kept it on max, and then water just started spraying everywhere. And I don't think a lot of people technically have used a bidet. I know a lot of Europeans have bidets in their household and so on. But, so it was just a funny little moment from Enzo. And I hope we get one weekly or even per episode, because that was just hilarious and funny and great. And just as good as probably the Nicole comment. With that, so I guess we should probably get to the live eviction now. It's the most saddest part to get to. But so the vote begins. The two house guests vote Janelle out. And the two house guests that vote Janelle to stay is our boy. We were just talking about him, Enzo, which he has been doing crazy with his votes recently.
That's typical Enzo.
Yeah.
He likes to, this is how I want to vote. I don't care what the house is doing. This is how I want to vote. Or it's like, they're not going to know it's me. So who cares?
That's it. And the other one was Danny.
Yeah.
So this made me ask a lot of questions. Because we have some footage in the editing process that I think Janelle got to Danny, but could Danny not get to the rest of her alliance? And then this makes me question if Danny has as much influence as we were led to believe initially.
It also seemed like in the diary room when she was casting her vote, that it seemed like she kind of, it was an impulse vote. Like she changed her mind and like she kind of just like, it's like almost like she almost was undecided. And then once she said Janelle, it's almost like she almost didn't believe that she said that, because it's like she decided on the spot. That's what it looked like to me.
I think she just wanted to stir the pot in that regard, because she knew Janelle was going home. I remember reading somewhere that really honestly by Sunday, when we watch it on Sunday, the house generally already knows who's going home on Thursday. So our Sunday is not their Sunday though. So, but by Sunday night, you kind of already know who's going home, sort of ordeal. And I think she just wants to stir the pot. She just wants to stir the pot, do that rogue vote. Who vote?
Yeah. Also, can I add something?
Of course.
The whole thing about like Danny saying that like her strategy is like dropping little like hints around the house of doubt. I think that that's probably why also, like you said, like she'll probably use that vote that she did against Janelle to like probably throw somebody else under the bus in the future.
Yeah, that's it. So I like that. I thought that was interesting. And Enzo was just doing it not to be rogue, but just doing it to be Enzo. And I loved it too. So Julie speaks with Janelle outside of the Big Brother house once she has to put on her mask and go outside the doors and go straight to the chair to sit and talk to Julie, who, by the way, Julie never has to wear a mask. And I never got that. And I talked to you guys about this because it always fascinated me how the house guests who have been isolated, who have been quarantined, who definitely don't have the virus, have to wear the mask. And then Julie, who goes home, comes back, and so on, practices her social distancing, but still doesn't have to wear the mask, always interested me. I always thought that was kind of weird. Like, why doesn't Julie have to wear the mask? Because you're not going to get anything from Janelle. Janelle is perfectly fine. But Julie doesn't have to wear anything, and she's still practicing the same kind of distance.
Perks of being host.
Yeah,
And
I think it's a TV thing.
Technically, you know, you don't have to wear a mask if you're a certain distance apart. So I don't understand why the house guests have to wear their mask during the interview. Like, sit in your chair, take the mask off. I get it for like walking around and all that kind of stuff. Production's probably all wearing masks, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's weird that they're making the interview process have to be with the mask on. That's odd to me, but Julie not wearing a mask, meh.
No, but that's what I mean though. Like, why aren't you at least sitting, when you're sitting down, taking off the mask? Kids in schools, they have to wear a mask everywhere they go, but once they sit down at their designated desk, they could take their mask off. So I would imagine it'd be the same kind of scenario here, and I want to see their lips when they talk. I don't want to see it under a mask. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just I found it also fascinating that one has to and one doesn't. And maybe it's just a PR thing, right? It's just kind of like, hey, look, we're doing our thing to help COVID and so on. But still, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because I'm weird like that.
It's bothering you. It's okay. We can talk about it.
And it's the last time I get to talk about Janelle. Yeah, so basically Janelle is sad to see K-Sarah's goodbye video and realizes he has no idea about the secret alliance and will confide into Memphis and tell him everything. Because Julie, as the fangirl that she is, basically wanted to spill the tea with Janelle. It seems like they were going to talk for like another hour. And she basically told Janelle who her rogue votes were, who the votes were to keep her, and essentially how Memphis was working her.
It's funny that you say fangirl because while we were watching it, Julie was so excited to talk game with Janelle that even I said to Lance, and I'm like, okay, fangirl Julie, get a move on, like continue the interview.
Yeah, she totally fangirled. It's kind of nice to see though, and it's really clear that Janelle has such a history with the franchise that Julie like wanted to have that conversation with her. I think it's also telling in past interviews and in the interviews we're going to see moving in the weeks to come how Julie reacts. I think that there's a nice humanness to it. So yeah, it was kind of like a little cheesy, but I think it's kind of human and it's kind of nice. I think I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, but it just goes to show how much Julie is a fan of Big Brother also.
Yeah, no, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And as the host, you should be like that. You should be a fan of what's going down. Arissa is kind of like that for Big Brother Canada. She's a bit more standoffish, though. Again, Julie has been doing it for 20 years. So a little different there. But Arissa's kind of fangirlish. Just Julie is really up there. And I love it. I think it's cool. It's cute. It shows that, hey, even the host is a big fan. We don't see that in Survivor. You know what I mean? We don't, the host is just very timid and does his job and that's it. And here's the stuff and all that.
Probst is just diplomatic.
Yeah, that's valid.
He doesn't want to influence fan favorites.
Yeah.
But Big Brother's the same.
Nah, Julie has favorites. She does every season. She's human. You can see it. I loved her reaction in the votes though.
Yeah.
So
when Danny voted for Janelle, she had to be like, whoa. Like I think Nicole was next and she had to make Nicole wait because she was like, I just got thrown off right now.
Yeah, and I think she was like checking with production, like, are my notes wrong? Like, what's going on? Because could you imagine if that had led to being like a flip and Julie had no idea? Like, what if Slick Six, for example, had decided last minute to keep Janelle and production didn't? There's no way production wouldn't know. But based on that reaction, maybe it could have happened.
Keep in mind, when it comes to Thursday, the production probably gives her a bunch of notes. But I still feel like there's still some stuff that she doesn't want to know just because she wants to give us that kind of surprised reaction sort of ordeal. Like, she wouldn't have known that vote, right? That vote is live. So there is no way, and maybe that conversation did happen, but it happened late at night, and production is not going to do anything with that, just because they don't really show us a lot of stuff on Sunday of what happened on the night of. They kind of just show us the ending of the HOH competition if it happens on that Thursday, and then they go into what's happening after the competition. So that stuff that production does there the night of HOH and all that is not really shown or even completed because they don't really use it for anything. So Julie might not have known in that regard because there's no point of telling her. It's going to be useless information to her, I would think. Maybe I'm going too much into it. But all in all to say, yeah, all in all to say, Julie the fangirl, I love it, and it's awesome. And with that, we say our goodbyes to Janelle once more. HOH competition starts. And in this HOH competition, which is called the Carnival Quick Shot, the house guests are split into 2 groups of 6 and have to roll 3 balls up a ramp and try to get them into holes at the top of the ramp. Then the next group will compete, and the winners from each will face off for a final winner. So Nicole F., Devon, Ian, Enzo, and David and Kesar are the first to compete, but viewers will have to wait until Sunday to discover who is crowned the new head of household. Find out on Sunday on Big Brother. And
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. We already know Kesar's in the last round, so we'll see. I'm excited to see him play without Janelle. I hope his game is not totally shot.
He's never played without Janelle before. She's always been the one to outlast him, and like he said, he's never not been on the block with Janelle.
Yeah, that's it. So it'd be interesting to see how he plays. Who do you think he's going to try to join forces with?
If he's smart, he would probably go with the side of the house that isn't the big alliance, but obviously he doesn't know. So it's gonna be he's in a tough spot.
Yeah, I hope I hope Memphis gives himself away a little bit to Kesar for Kesar's sake, despite Memphis's game. I mean, I'm not a Memphis fan, so I don't care. But I hope he can figure Memphis out at least a little bit. And yeah, if he's smart, he's gonna put webs out into some of the outliers. I hope he doesn't tie too close to Devon, but he's gonna have to work with her for the next few weeks at least to see where that goes, I think.
Yeah, I that's it. I feel like he's gonna fall into Memphis's trap, and he's still gonna have the ear of Cody and thing. I feel like he might end up just working with them, but if he's smart, he will go to the other side. I just hope he doesn't do anything with David, because David is a useless, pointless house guest, and it would do nothing to his game if he starts doing anything with David. But if they do a whole Devon, Bailey, David, Kesar thing, we'll see what happens. I randomly hope Ian decides to be like, yo, Kesar, what's up? Like, let's do it. But Ian's a lone wolf. Ian's a lone wolf, though. I don't see him doing anything like that. Unfortunately, he'll but whatever. It's good for Ian's game. Ian just plays dumb to Christmas. We saw that happen this week too. It's really hot outside. Oh no, what is it? Oh, I'm really cooking here. Oh, what are you going to be making? Christmas bacon.
Yeah, I think he's trying to use it to his advantage a little bit to come off non-threatening. I think that's actually going to play to his detriment long term. I think that he needs to be seen as valuable by some of the outliers. I don't know. I think he and Kesar might be they might be good sounding boards for each other, but I don't know that they're actually going to be able to work together. Like, I don't think they'll be able to achieve much in the house together. They won't be able to make waves or do anything, but I think they'd be really cool, like really good to bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah, it'll be a very interesting week, and I'm excited to watch, because things are going to shift, obviously, depending on who wins HOH, because if one of the the alliance members win again. That's just like week 4 that they're in power now, which like we'll have to see who wins. But I think it'll be a shifting week for sure.
Yeah, man, give me something different. Give me Bailey winning. Give me Ian innings. Ian's probably still gonna throw it, but give me Ian winning. Give me for randomness David winning, just because I want to see him leave, but I'm also curious to see how he would do in an HOH, which won't be good. But I'm curious to how he makes his judgments. I just don't want to see Cody, Enzo, or Tyler winning for now.
Yeah.
I want to see something a little. Give me Danny winning. I don't think Danny wants to play either. Problem is, there's so many people that don't want the HOH. They want to be that hidden ninja in the background.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
I was just gonna say we gotta wait and see.
Gotta wait and see. I hope next week we get together and we all regret what we said about David this week.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bet on it, but let's hope.
Yeah.
That's what that's what I want. If he were to win HOH, there's some redeeming there. We'll see. I don't know. Ugh.
I mean, I love your hope for David. I really appreciate that. You're a good, kind-hearted individual, but at some point, you just can't be nice anymore, and you just gotta just say it like it is. Yeah, he's done. He's toast.
It'll be
He's
interesting.
toast with the Christmas bacon. That's it, guys. So Big Brother week 3 is done and done. Tomorrow is week 4, and we will find out who wins HOH along with a whole bunch of other stuff. That's how the cookie crumbles. Let me take it over to you guys. Steph, where can they like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever have you on your end?
Yeah, I'll plug the 2 Instagrams I usually do. So at Stephanie's Bakery 514 for my page and all cake related cupcake stuff, and for Lance it's at Hustle and Cake, and he's doing his daddy thing and his cake thing and his music thing. So go check it out and like and subscribe.
That's it. And CC?
I'm still gonna push Rice for Ramadan. We are $4,000, $3,500 away from supporting 20 different percussion groups. So if you have anything to donate, please do.
Yay.
Donate that. Yeah, I saw that it increased this week by quite a bit too. So that was pretty awesome.
Yes, spiked went up. It was awesome.
Yeah, saw that. And of course, it will still be on the links below if you want to donate. There is no amount too little and there is no amount too high. If you can help, and you can support, it's hard times for everyone, but especially in Guinea, it's really hard for them too. So if you can spare a little change, by all means, it would be appreciated and going towards a good cause. And on my end, of course, you can follow Real Talk Radio. That's the brand at Real Talk Radio 8, at JLB420, all on Twitter. Anchor.fm RTR is where you can find all our stream sites and where we are, even on the YouTube. And realtalkradio.online. Site still hasn't been updated. There is no time like the present. I'm getting on that hopefully soon. And that's it, guys. Thank you all for listening. This has been your week 3 recap on to week 4. In the meantime, though, stay safe, wear masks, and social distance.
Social distance.
How do I social distance like Janelle did when she got removed from Big Brother, which I'm still
You're so sad. You're so sad.
So sad. So sad. I'm gonna go cry now. So I'm gonna end this podcast, and that is it, guys. Ciao for now.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.